Hello and welcome to the Be Smart About Art show. My name is Susan J. Mumford, and I'm here on this Tuesday to talk about the business of boosting your your own business, and also to sneak in a little bit on the art world this week. So what we do each week is we have a program Sunday to Thursday, and that's essentially got a set agenda each day. And as this last weekend, we had a long weekend for Easter, we actually missed both our Sunday and our Monday show. So therefore, I am sneaking in to boosting your art business something else. Now, where are we in the world right now? Well, over the last actually month now, we have seen a number of art fairs cancelled in the West that followed, say, Art Basel Hong Kong having been announced as being cancelled before even other ones because the outbreak of COVID-19 had taken place over there earlier. And what we're doing now is we're trying as much as we can in the art world to make a new normal happen. It's not just adjusting to a new normal, but we are creators. We are making the things happen. We're the ones who open the museums and the galleries and the pop-ups, and we create the art and we come up with the ideas. And so this is a time that's really important for us to be coming up with concepts, not only just thinking about them, but launching them very, very quickly. This very show is an excellent example of something that I set out doing a few weeks ago now, and I launched it way more quickly than was comfortable. But guess what? I thought right now is the time to do that. So today are 3 points to be covered. One of them is going to give you a little cheeky insight. We have got forecasting cells. How on earth do you go about that? Number 2, we have got business planning. How can you do that in the current environment? That occurred to me when I needed to be doing some business planning myself. And thirdly, I've got something there called V-art. What do I mean by that? Well, that is that cheeky extra little happening in the art world this week piece. I will kick off with this question about how on earth do you go about forecasting cells. Now, this occurred to me myself about a week ago when I was facing a spreadsheet myself, and I thought, how on earth do I know what's going to be happening? I mean, you can never see into the future, but you normally at least have some idea. Okay, you'll think, right, this summer, maybe cells will go down depending on where you're based. Typically, let's take London and New York alike, which are very similar on this one. So in the summer, they will go quiet maybe in mid-July or so. And those two locations, as art markets, geographically based, they tend to stay quiet until the end of August, and then they'll pick back up again in September. Now, there can be exceptions to that if you are, say, somebody who runs a gallery or produces art in an area that particularly welcomes tourists. The middle of summer might be a fantastic time for you in the art market, but for many people who are in those two locations, their reality is things go a bit more quiet, apart from maybe some Middle Eastern customers coming over and spending some of the summer. I know that's happened to London gallerists who I've known over the years, where actually they sell to quite a few Middle Eastern clients during that period. So now though, here we are, we've just passed 100 days apparently into the whole COVID-19 thing being a reality in the world at all, and now we're over a month into this being a big thing in the Western world, certainly, which is where I'm based. And so when you think about your planning, you might be beginning to go, well, what is going to be happening in May? What is going to be happening in June? What about Art Basel that was going to be taking place in Basel in Switzerland in June, mid-June? It happens every year. That's the original fair of the Basel brand. That's been delayed till September. Is that actually going to be taking place? So how do you go about this? Well, the first thing is you try your best, and you essentially base your estimations on what you're seeing taking place right now, and you're paying attention to reliable news sources who are going to be helping you to understand what might be coming in the coming months. So if you look back at the Thursday 9th of April edition of the Be Smart About Art show, you'll hear Dr. Chris King talking about some good news sources that do help to give you some indication as to what might be happening in the coming weeks. And so therefore what you can do is you can take your forecast that maybe you would normally have, and you can go, right, well, I'm going to be introducing this this revenue stream. I'm going to be introducing this new offering. I'm going to be continuing with that. Maybe the continuing with that, you're thinking, okay, that might not be happening until later the year or next year. What about this one, this new thing that you're doing? Well, perhaps it'll start taking off in a month's time, and maybe you'll have some trickling in of sales, and you essentially you plot this out over the months to your best ability. This is going to link in to the next point, by the way, with business planning, to give you some more specifics on the thinking behind what I'm talking about now. In terms of forecasting sales at all, I'll talk about that in another edition of Boosting Your Art Business, because it is possible to forecast sales even when you're selling works of art. I know a lot of people are not aware of how to do it. When I had my gallery a number of years ago, I had a spreadsheet for forecasting sales that I developed with my then financial director. And essentially the thinking behind it is to help you work a bit more on this before I then go on to our next point for today, is let's say that you have a transaction, and that transaction could potentially be, I'm going to try to keep some easy numbers here, we'll say 5,000 or whatever your currency is, and the likelihood you think of that sale taking place is 50%. What you forecast for that is 50% of the 5,000. So you're forecasting for 2,500, and you put that in the month when you think it's likely to take place. So right now, if you're thinking, well, gosh, I'm introducing this new Art Lovers Club to my business, but I really don't know what the take-up is. If you hope that you're going to have, let's say, 20 people sign up in the first month, and you think there's a 50% chance of that taking place, and let's say that that's going to take place in May, then I'm trying to keep easy numbers here. So you've got 20 people who might take it up. Let's say that you're going to be charging 100, I'll say, dollars per place, and you think that there's a 50% chance. Now, this is all being done in my head right here, right now, everyone. So what that means is 20 people times 100 would be what? That would be 1,000, right? Am I getting that? 2,000, pardon me. If there's a 50% chance of that taking place, what you would therefore do is put into the month of May 1,000 of that currency, because that's a 50% likelihood of that happening. So that's one example of something that you might be introducing that you could put in place. It might be that you're publishing, or you've published a book. You could be creating cards that you're posting to people. You might be doing art classes, all kinds of different services and goods that you can be offering even at this very, very different time. So think about that in terms of forecasting, and I will address forecasting just as a concept in a different show. Now, when it comes to quote unquote business planning, this is where I want to bring in something that was said by the CFO of Go Cardless in a webinar last week on Thursday. Now, Go Cardless is a payment solution. It's a way for businesses to enable their customers to set up direct debits. And what that means is that whenever they set up a direct debit, even if their debit or their credit card changes, that they don't need to update their membership or their payment to that business, that is the customers, every time the debit or credit card changes, because what's in the account is not connected to the card, and if the card changes, it's actually connected to the bank account itself. I know that I've been using it in the UK for years. It's now available in the States and elsewhere. So it's a good, big international company servicing customers, lots of small businesses included with that, and reasonable prices for those small businesses. So I was impressed by this webinar, which is now going to be in the resources section of Go Cardless's website. So do go have a look and try to find Catherine Burkett's webinar. It's a worthy 1-hour listen. And when you hear her address, the first question that was asked, it was actually by myself. And that was asking about how on earth do you go about business planning at a time like this? Now, I was thinking about this myself because separately to Be Smart About Art, because I'm an entrepreneur in the art market, I have a startup, and that startup needs to continue putting together numbers. But how does that startup put together numbers when you have no idea what's going to be taking place in 3 months in a way that we have never previously encountered? And she said something excellent, and that was to create different scenarios. So what I'm doing with that startup, that I'm now applying to all of my enterprises, I've got 3 businesses on the go, 2 of them trading, 1 pre-trading, and all of them are now looking at scenarios, 3 different scenarios, in which you've got one where you're kind of going back to normal trading in the summer. You've got a second one that's going back to normal trading end of the current calendar year, beginning of the next calendar year, something like that. And then the third scenario being that actually things are not going back to quote unquote normal. When I say normal, it's probably not going to be that ambitious of a normal. It's going to be a pretty conservative normal. I'm talking about normal things taking place like art fairs and all of that good stuff. So then the third option will be for next summer, things going back to a normal-ish environment. And what you do with all three scenarios is you essentially go, right, what can I do to maintain my business no matter which of these three scenarios takes place? And if any of you watching this video are thinking, gosh, you're raising investment as well, that's going to be really helpful to give your investor some idea that you are actually thinking this through. And this could include crowdfunding if you're going in crowdfunding a project or something like that. It could be rewards based, it could be shares based in terms of the different crowdfunding options. There are more options than just that. But that goes to show that you are thinking it through and you're going, right, here's how I'm going to counter the challenges if it's basically a long run of this environment that we're currently in. Here's what happens with this scenario, here's what happens with this other scenario. So really good thinking, and it helps you to inform you, because when you're running a small business, then what you can effectively do is change really quickly. So if the market suddenly changes, you can go, right, I had that other business plan, I can go and jump into doing what that says. So it means that you've got these three options ready to go, and you're able to go, right, what did I come up with? Because we know how our brains work, right? We forget things. Just earlier today, I was thinking, gosh, I know I came up with a scenario for that. I had to dig through my email to find out some correspondence. So then I want to get to the third point for today's show, which is a bit of news from the art world. And the bit of news today is this. We have the launch of the V-Art show. Now that stands for virtual, I am sure, although I haven't actually seen it. Maybe that means video. The video art show, that would also work as well. But I know it's actually about all different types of art that will be displayed. So let me just read you this piece. I'm looking at basically what appears to really be a press release on the homepage of https://www.v-art.show. So v-art.show. How this works. So essentially this is a video chat and show that's presenting contemporary artists, many of whom I know, many of whom have been involved in Be Smart About Art in one way or another over the last 8 years. And here's the description on the website, how it works. Each artist has a studio room where they will show their work simply by clicking on the virtual studios. For each artist, you can go between the studios. So that's quite fun. You can pop into the different studios. This is all hosted on Zoom. The virtual help room can be accessed as well for people who are not quite sure how to access the different rooms or what to do at the time. So the show is going to be open. This is going to be UK times from 7 to 10 p.m. on the 18th of April. And if I think really quickly, the 18th of April is in 4 days. So that will take us to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's going to be a Saturday evening, according to my count, the 18th of April. And you'll get to virtually meet 8 artists and talk to them about their latest collection of work. So the artists who I have got here from the website: Mark Beattie, Matt Jukes, Caroline Banks, Sarah Needham, Alex McIntyre, Gina Soden, Yana Nicole, Michael Wallner. And that is a fantastic selection of grouping of people. Indeed, I think I know all of those people, bar one. So that is going to be a really excellent exhibition. There's so many fantastic initiatives taking place. So what are your ideas and what can you do about them? What we have come to Be Smart About Art is keeping it simple and supportive. So we've got one strand of membership, and we are really encouraging everyone to take advantage of your professional community, your personal community. Ask for support when you need it as well. It is vital at the moment that we are working together in communities. And when you have an idea like that, call on people around you who might be able to participate, when people who can take part, people who can view, people who can share, people who can spread the word. all of it. Do check out our own program over at patreon.com/BeSmartAboutArt, where we are building a global community of creative professionals, which is arguably needed more than ever at this time, because at Be Smart About Art, we do say that we're here to help you thrive in an ever-changing art world, and I think that it's ever-changing in a way that we have never seen before. How you can make the best or the most out of Be Smart About Art and other communities is be sure that you participate, that you connect, and then you also grow. And you can do that outwardly. You can also do it in a quiet way in the background watching. It's been a real pleasure to have you today at the Be Smart About Art show. I've been Susan J. Mumford, and I look forward to seeing you again online soon. And to find out everything else about Be Smart About Art, check out besmartaboutart.com, and also be sure to check out the hashtag BeSmartAboutArt. See you soon. Signing out from Lewis in East Sussex in England.